Hello friends and potential friends. Well, let's see. Today is Thursday, June 24th, 2021. It's about 11:30 in the morning. Temperature is about 85 degrees. Humidity is about 85%. And I'm running out of patience. Y'all may recognize the Tater Tower. I planted this back on March 7th of this year. So it's been just about 4 months. I've been doing my best to pretend to be patient, but my patience is running thin. I feel a little bit like the buzzard in an old blacklight poster I had back in the 70s. But anyway, it's time to take this thing apart. Now I've got a little bit of a dilemma. I've still got those Varsky peppers producing at the top layer, and I want to keep those producing. There's still a little bit of green in there here and there, so theoretically I could let these things go a while longer, but my patience is not going to allow that. So my plan of attack is I'm going to take the top level off of this other Greenstalk, the one that's got the homestead tomatoes growing in it, and it's still producing a few tomatoes, by the way. And then I'm going to move the top level from that Greenstalk over to this one. And incidentally, I'm going to find a pot to put this mint in because it's persistent. I still haven't figured out how it got up to this top level because all the mint I have growing is down here on that bottom level. And interestingly enough, I don't see any more mint growing in any of the other tiers. So it somehow made the leap from the bottom to the top. I guess they're right. Mint does tend to take over. But anyway, let me get things set up a little bit and we'll get into this. And incidentally, if you see me dripping from time to time, just ignore it. 85% humidity does not allow sweat to evaporate very well. So let's get into it. Part worked pretty easy. Okay, we're back in the patio now. And I've got all 5 tiers lined up here in the order I took them off. See the top one over there in the far distance. And incidentally, in the center tier, I found ants. I don't know how they were living in that tray because that's where the water runs through every morning when I dump water into this thing. But they are there. So I'm going to start taking this apart, starting at the bottom, and Just for the record, I have low expectations for that bottom tier because initially it wasn't getting watered as well as the other four. And it also was one of the first that started to die off. So let's start dumping some dirt and see what we can find. I do love a treasure hunt. Take the tray off of there. And I'll start by pulling some of these plants. And there's my first volunteer potato. Teeny tiny ones so far. Here's one of the seed potatoes. Another seed potato. They're pretty tiny, but that's okay. This was an experiment. Now let's dump some dirt. Treasure hunt begins. Rotted. Well, that's not bad for a start. They're all pretty tiny, but there are little potatoes there. At the very least, I can some of those. Let me get that soil emptied out of there somewhere, and we'll go after the second tier. Okay, that's number one. Let's see about number two over here. Well, that was not polite. Battery went dead in my camera. Well, I was going through the second tier. I don't know how much of it caught, but we did add a little bit, and they're starting to get a little bit bigger. some halfway decent sized ones in there. I've already beat last year's total for potatoes, and I still got 2 more tiers to go. And incidentally, I also need to speed up a little bit because I'm starting to hear some thunder headed this way. We've got about 50% chance of rain today. And I'm not going to complain about that because my tote still isn't quite full. In the last week and a half, I think it's been, we've gotten a little over 2 inches of rain, our daily afternoon thunder showers, and I'm back up to about 225 gallons in my big tote. So at least I don't have to worry about watering the garden again. Besides which, if it rains in the afternoon, I don't have to water it in the evening. Let me go dump this soil out and we'll get into tier number 3. Okay, let's start into tier number 3. Hip off. Uh-oh. Ants got into that one. Oh, and incidentally, this is the tier that had the ants moved into it. And as you can see, they've been helping themselves a little bit. So I'm going to have to be a little bit careful with this one. They're not fire ants, but I imagine they'd still sting me if they get a chance. And they are in the soil in here. Oh my. Well, there's the big daddy so far. And it's got ants all over it. And I'm getting ants all over me. Like I said, they're not fire ants, so they'll sting me if they get a chance, but won't be as bad as if they were fire ants. Okay, let's dump this one. Whew. Oh, and I'm dripping pretty good. Well, there's tier number 3. And so far that's the big one. That's bigger than any of the potatoes I planted. Let's see. I'm gonna go get my other tub, I think. I want to save some of that soil to re-amend it and start building another tower. I'll be back in a second. Okay, one last tier, and the thunderstorm's getting closer. I just looked at the radar and it's not very far away, so I need to get through this. Good size ones. Boy, I may need a bigger bucket. I thought I was being optimistic. And that's 4. I thought I was being optimistic when I brought this bucket out, but I almost needed a bigger bucket. That is by far the best potato harvest I've ever had, so I'm not going to complain at all. In fact, I think I'm going to take this in and put it on the kitchen scale and see what we got. Well, can you see that? 10 pounds, 12 ounces. That is not bad at all, considering I only planted maybe half a pound of potatoes. I'm definitely going to consider this a success. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the adventure. I hope you enjoyed the treasure hunt. I hope your patience lasted longer than mine did, and I'll see you on the next video.